Producer, let's walk.
I was saying already. You guys are laughing at the intro music.
Go. You're supposed to say hello, world.
Oh, we're live. Nah.
Yeah.
Hello, world.
The cousins are locked in. Myself, Max. I always forget to introduce myself. Let's get that out of the way.
You got it,
Dave,
cuzzo.
my cousin.
Thank you, sir.
Sean, the producer, with the fresh locked in tea as always.
What up?
Before we begin this amazing podcast, which is on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher Radio, we have to plug a couple things.
Yes.
Undisputed Clash of the Titans, January 20th at the Orlando Live. We have an amazing fight card with both boxing and MMA, and the Locked In crew, which is everybody I just introduced, will be there commentating on Facebook Live, Locked In with 2 N's, that night. Absolutely incredible. And within that is another plug. We have Coach Pete, the Next Big Thing Taylor. We have Chris Mixon, a whole bunch of his fighters that will be in that fight card. So make sure you check out Pete White Boxing and MMA. Is the best gym around, so check them out.
Yeah, Port Orange, Florida. Colin, my son, was there a couple days ago training. Day 1 for the UFC Middleweight Championship of the World. The goal is out there. We started day 1.
Middleweight?
Yes, sir.
Already?
Yeah. We'll bulk him up, but I like the middleweight.
How old is he?
He's 5.
Okay.
So
But I have all the faith in the world in Colin.
Hey, with Pete as the coach, I believe in it.
Me too. That being said, also make sure you check out Fit Meals with Dimitri. Get you on the right plan. Isn't that right? You're on Fit Meals?
I am absolutely on Fit Meals. Love it. Food's great. It tastes great. It arrives at my door. I feel good. I feel healthy. Give Dimitri a call. Maybe we'll put his information on the podcast. Unbelievable guy. Great person. And, support Fit Meals.
You can check them out at Fit Meals on Instagram. It's just Fit Meals. You look that up, it pops up. Also on Facebook, Dimitri, but that's more of his personal thing. So just go to the Instagram. Also, we want to have a special thanks or give a special thanks to Coach Ham of the Spruce Creek Girls Basketball Program. He was on the podcast last episode. Absolutely amazing. So make sure you support Spruce Creek's Girls Basketball Program and Coach Ham himself.
He had a lively debate. We got into it. Our Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan debate. It was awesome. I love a great sports debate. Coach Ham, big ups, respect to him. Great coach, great person as well.
He was so pro Kobe, even though I was leaning Kobe in that argument. I felt bad for Tim Duncan. That's how pro Kobe he was. But also, one last special shout-out is to Coach Ray Gaines in the Calvary program. He was a tremendous guest to have on, so make sure you support him. Am I forgetting anybody?
I think that's everyone. I've only received 3 Dunkin' Donut gift cards to our fans out there.
I haven't got any of those.
I get Chick-fil-A. No, playing.
Shit. Nah, guys. Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. Please support. Download on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio. We have our T-shirts galore. It's awesome. There's iPhone covers, mugs, and T-shirts. Who doesn't want a locked-in T-shirt with Max and Dave?
Baby onesies.
Baby onesies.
I didn't even know we had baby onesies.
You might fit in them, Max.
Are you trying to crack? I've
Nah.
been in the weight room every day.
Damn. Respect that, actually. I do respect that. Can we just definitely start the show with the most incredible, amazing, outstanding, majestic event that's ever happened? Took it 18 years for this to happen.
Are we talking about the Locked In Sports Podcast being created, or are we talking about the Bills making it to the playoffs?
I want to be selfish here. Buffalo Bills making the NFL playoffs.
I'm recording right now. So whenever you're ready, I'm going to hit play. So you put your headphones on so you can hear it.
Yes, sir.
Ravens trying to end it here. 4th down. Dalton steps up. Dalton throws. It's complete. Caught by Boyd. Tyler Boyd. Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Remarkable. The Cincinnati Bengals have stunned this crowd.
The Buffalo Bills locker room. Andy Dalton on 4th down, getting ready. That was the Buffalo Bills locker room celebrating, just like David Van Auken's living room was celebrating. 18 years of misery. I had my son Dylan sleeping on me, my beautiful wife Susie sitting to the right of me. One of my most favorite sports moments, maybe a padlock moment of my life. Buffalo Bills, guys, 18 years of not making the playoffs. It's done. It's over. The curse is over. Oh, my gosh. It was awesome. Unbelievable. You live for these kind of moments. You're in podcasts for these kind of moments. Yep, more Buffalo. Yep.
This is actually Dave's living room. I was recording him.
Yep. I hope you weren't recorded the whole night. But unbelievable. I am a diehard Andy Dalton fan. God, just an unbelievable, majestic moment. Max, it was a highlight. A Buffalo Bill Locked In podcast highlight. They're in the playoffs. They're playing Jacksonville this Sunday. I'm excited. I will be there live. I'm going to the game. I will bring my 5-year-old son, his first NFL regular postseason game ever. I'm pumped. What you guys think about that?
I think it's amazing how much the Buffalo Bills fan base has rallied around Andy Dalton. Have you heard about the donations to his foundation?
It's the best,
it's amazing to see a team go against a rival per se. They're in the same conference, that sort of thing. But I think it's amazing to see that around there because he made a great play and changed their history for the year. So
yeah, that's why I love sports so much. It brings people together, brings families together. It makes memories, great memories. Some of the best memories I have my whole entire life with my family. Cuzzo, remember Game 7, Golden State, Cleveland. LeBron makes the block. Kyrie makes the shot. We're diving on the floor. We're literally 5-year-old kids jumping on the ground. One of the most happiest moments of my life.
I think whenever your team makes the playoffs, it's amazing. But this team hasn't made the playoffs since when?
18 years.
So it's a little more amazing.
In the 2000s, because of my whole adult life, they haven't made the playoffs.
No, so we're obviously talking about the Bills. I think it needs a moment of celebration before we discuss what's going down against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got
Jaguars?
Jaguars. I had a speech today from somebody. Throwing no names out there. It's not Jaguar. It's Jaguar. Jaguar?
Jacksonville, they're a good team, guys. They're solid. Their defense is awesome. They've had the most sacks in the NFL this season. But the playoffs are set in the NFL. Patriots and Steelers on byes. Jaguars versus the Bills. And then the other game there, it's the Kansas City Chiefs versus
I have them
Tennessee
winning
Titans.
Yes, yeah.
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, so we're okay. You had your moment of celebration about your Bills. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars probably have the better roster, would you say?
I do agree with that.
Better defense.
Yes.
When they're running games on, it's on. Leonard Fournette. But I think there's one thing that helps my original argument about the whole NFL is the reason why I think I have the Bills winning this game is because they have a better quarterback. I have been so off Bortles since the very beginning.
Blake Bortles from UCF.
And I think when you have so many examples as the 49ers, not good, but Jimmy Garoppolo comes. And now You're locked in was they're going to be the Los Angeles Rams of next season.
Yes, sir.
And they're already on fire now. You look at the Green Bay Packers. What happens to them once they lose their quarterback? They look like the Browns. So it's like, I want to say the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win off their overall better roster, but when you look at their quarterback game, I want a reliable, trustworthy quarterback, and I don't see that in Bortles. So not only given those facts, my cousin's a big fan of the Bills. You have my full support with the Bills beating the Jaguars.
Wow.
Jaguars.
I love that, cousin. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm going to that game. I am bringing my son. I'm pumped. It's awesome. It's 18 years. Who knows when the Bills will make the playoffs again? And they're playing down the road, cuzzo, in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm going. Let's just jump to the NFC side. Philadelphia and Minnesota have the byes.
Yeah.
The other matchups are awesome. The Saints versus the Panthers. That's a great football game. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, let's dive into that real quick.
Yeah.
But before you just mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Yes, sir.
So the Philadelphia Eagles were a huge favorite going into the playoffs, right? They were the best team.
Yeah.
Well, arguably the best team. Some wouldn't say they were the best team, but they were definitely up there.
Yeah.
So what happened when their quarterback went out?
They went down the tubes.
I'm just telling you, the quarterback position is the most valuable. So when we talk about the Panthers versus the Saints,
Yes, sir.
I think the Panthers are a really good team and they're clicking. I think they understand that Cam Newton's not Superman. They understand he has limitations. He's not the most accurate, not the best in the pocket. But Drew Brees is by far a better quarterback than Cam Newton. And you even said this on again. You were right on it. The locked in was that you had the Saints going to the Super Bowl. I have the Saints beating the Panthers just because Drew Brees, I can rely and trust Drew Brees over Cam Newton any day.
Oh,
Any
totally
day.
agree.
They do have a young roster.
You've been locked in on this since the very first episode, Cuzzo. It's a quarterback league, and that's why I think the MVP, I know it stinks to kind of say it should always be a quarterback.
It's Tom Brady. Come on now.
The MVP
Am I
is
locked
Tom
in?
Brady. So, yeah, I would almost take every game in the postseason, the better quarterback I would take to win the game. That's what I would just go, hey, better quarterback. Real quick, the last NFC game of the first round is the Atlanta Falcons versus the Los Angeles Rams. Got
Okay.
that one right.
Yep.
I like that game a lot. That's a good game, a high-scoring game. The Rams are on the rise. I think the Rams are probably a better team, but Matt Ryan, who people think I have I'm too high on him,
You are way too high on him.
brought his team back to the playoffs. Russell Wilson is not in the playoffs
Well,
this
let's
year.
look at the pieces the Atlanta Falcons have and the pieces that Russell Wilson has. You have Julio Jones, named the best receiver for Russell Wilson.
Huge disparity. That's Doug Baldwin.
That's what I'm
Julio
saying. I'm not
Jones
saying-
is a stud.
Yeah, I think a lot of it
Good
has
call
to
on
do.
that one.
Yeah,
Running back. What's the Seahawks running back situation?
Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
Damn. So
That's what I'm saying.
you guys won that round.
Can we dive into that matchup? Let's dive into that matchup.
Falcons Rams.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let's go, man.
I have the Rams beating the Falcons. I think the
Ooh.
Falcons, you have Matt Ryan, they're flashy. You have Julio Jones, obviously. But who's the better quarterback this year?
This year, Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan? Jared Goff has better numbers this year as well. And I understand Jared Goff, last year he was inconsistent
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't who he is this year, but he has a different offensive coordinator. The coaching staff has been amazing. Their system around him is what makes it work. And you could say that it has to do with the system, but we're going off this year. He's had a better year than Matt Ryan.
This game, a one-game playoff, through a 16-game.
And who has the better roster? I'm sorry. Like, who would you say before you get into the quarterback?
2
game?
through 53, the Rams have a better roster than the Falcons.
And then you
Because their
argue-
defense, their offense is real close.
Yeah, but then
But
you
Todd Gurley is an MVP candidate for the Rams.
so you have you have Todd Gurley,
Yeah.
a better roster that you'd say,
Yes, sir.
and then I can make the case that, and I think Goff had a better year than Matt Ryan at the quarterback position.
Let
Correct.
me debate this
I was-
just real quick, Sean, and then jump in on it. There's a real Super Bowl curse, not curse, guys. When the team loses a Super Bowl hangover. Thank you, producer.
I have one of those.
Hey,
Damn.
I'm joining. I'm putting one on right now. When the Panthers lost to the Denver Broncos a couple years ago, they
Yeah.
didn't make the playoffs. When the Seahawks lost to the Patriots, when a team usually loses a Super Bowl, it's a hangover. Teams usually don't make it even back to the playoffs. Atlanta fought through this hangover. They woke up early, they got to work, and they made the playoffs. I think that's more impactful, a better comeback this season, even than the Rams. Because I had the Rams making this jump. McVay, offensive, all the new weapons. I didn't have Atlanta making the postseason. I really thought the hangover would stop them from making the postseason, and they did. And they've been hot, actually, kind of lately down the stretch. They just beat Carolina pretty handily.
No, that's a good point, but I think now Colin Cowherd says this best, is that he's a better version of Andy Dalton, because if you compare their stats, they're pretty similar. But you're going off, they have the hangover, but they fought through it.
Yes, sir.
But recently they've been clicking, right?
Yeah.
But they did have some rough stretches.
Yes.
So you're going off their current and most recent success.
Correct.
On why they're going to beat the Rams.
That and just the overall team. Matt Ryan's been to a Super Bowl. Matt Ryan's been an MVP.
But with a different coach.
No. The same head coach, a different
I mean,
offensive
yeah,
coordinator.
offensive coordinator.
Okay,
That's what I
cool.
meant. And that makes a huge difference with the quarterback.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. I have a little bit of stats from them before, like 15 games in.
Yep.
Matt Ryan is better completion percentage, had about 300 more yards, but was 18-11 on TD interception,
Yep.
where Goff was 20-6.
Wow.
Holy
So stat-wise, I think Goff has a little edge on that side of the TD versus interceptions, but like completion yardage. But
Yeah.
you could say garbage time with Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta, it was a close game against Tampa, and you know how we discuss how Tampa was this year. So
Yeah.
you can't have a close game against Tampa. Then I'll go back to experience. The Rams are a young team.
Yes.
And I think it could be an advantage or a disadvantage to being a young team, because they can go in there and just fight because they want it. But they also could get overwhelmed. And the Atlanta team's been there. They were there, not too long ago. So you kind of go back and forth. But
I could see both points. Like, if the Falcons win, I'm not, oh my God, how did they beat the Rams?
Right.
But,
They're still on 9-7 or 10-6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a tough game no matter who wins. I don't see it as a lopsided mismatch, but I just think how we kind of just ran by the categories. I'll take, if I just have a better roster than the other team, that's good. If I had a lot of weapons, such as Todd Gurley, that's more in my favor. Now, if I look at the quarterbacks who had a better season, and I get the quarterback on top of those different aspects I just mentioned, I would always side with that. But like I said, experience, like you said, could play a huge part in this game where that could dictate who wins. So I won't be surprised if the Falcons win, but I won't say it's my locked in, but my current locked in this argument is that the Rams beat the Falcons.
Kezo, we're live. I think we're recording this somehow, some way. I'm not exactly sure.
Yes, we are recording.
Thank you, sir.
I hope so, right? All
Yes.
this good talk.
Yes, exactly.
Large iced coffee bet. I have the Falcons. You have the Rams. Do you accept my bet?
From where?
Dunkin' Donuts, of
Okay,
course.
Is there any other
I'm
place
just
to
making
get
sure
iced
that's
coffee?
applied. I'm just making sure that's applied with sugar, no sugar.
Less sugar.
You have a deal.
Deal.
We're shaking hands right now for
Iced
those who haven't
mocha
seen.
2 and 2.
Ooh, nice. I like the 2 and 2. I like the 2 and 2. Okay, boys. We're talking about one playoffs. Let's jump to another playoffs. The college football playoff, the Final Four, the foursome of four, the fearless four. I think I got that right.
The Four Horsemen?
Woo! The Ric Flair. Man, we got to get Roman back on the podcast. He was great, guys. Daytona 386 hoop scene. We're loving it. Ray Gaines, Coach Ham, big ups to all these guys. But real quick, Georgia versus Oklahoma. We'll really get into that game. And then Alabama and Clemson were the Final Four. Bama steamrolled Clemson.
We're getting out of the NFL?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna bring up. I was a little busy when you guys went to AFC. I was
Yeah,
gonna
but I
bring
say-
up. I was gonna bring up Jacksonville
We're mixing
on
up-
their not so hot streak.
Yeah, we're mixing up the NFL and college. Where are you leading us to right now?
I was leading you to this double overtime amazing game
We'll
from
get
Oklahoma
there.
and Georgia.
We'll get there. But what do you say
Dang.
about Jacksonville losing the last 2 games of their year
Drop
going into
that
the
mic,
playoffs?
Dave.
What do you say about that? I was high on them. You know that, but they lost the last 2 games.
I think Jacksonville's a good team. I think they're they're a borderline playoff team. I think their record it has been blown up. I don't think they're a 12-4 team, a 13-3 team. I think they're 8-8, 10-6 team. Their defense is awesome, and they still are awesome. But the offensive, Fournette hit that rookie wall. Bortles is a C quarterback, and they've had injuries on the receiving corps. Allen Robinson, we all know a fantasy stud, was hurt real early in the year. Then Marquise Lee was a solid receiver for him. I had him on our fantasy locked-in team. Then he got hurt during the end of the season. I'm just not into Jacksonville. I'm really not.
I think, like I said when we discussed my locked in,
Yeah.
they were a product of their division.
Agreed.
Their division was down.
Yes.
They pounced on Tennessee early, not on the game. I mean, they lost. They were swept by Tennessee this year, weren't they?
Yes. Wow, they were. Wow, that's
Could you imagine?
groundbreaking.
And
Hey.
what
Hey.
they were lucky.
Watch that.
Honestly, they were lucky that your Bills made the playoffs because they were going to have to play Tennessee in the wild card playoffs if it were the Ravens.
Wait, so who do you have winning?
The Jags game.
Yeah.
What is it? Kansas City.
No, I'm talking about the Jags versus Bills.
Oh, Jags versus Bills.
Did I put you on the spot?
Kind of.
what I do.
Honestly, it depends for both teams. It depends on what team shows up, because both teams showed signs of brilliance, if I can speak.
Yeah.
But both teams also are very beatable. So I think it just depends on how they can do.
I
they're
need a
both
bold prediction
they're
here, Sean. Don't beat around the bush.
I love the bush.
Politically,
no Bush.
I can't give you mine because mine's locked in.
Right. Yeah.
I'm getting.
You're locked in.
you're not getting out of this
I
one.
know. No.
You're on the spot.
I think Jacksonville backed into it, so I think I'll go Bills.
Yes.
So I'm not going to spoil Dave's
Asked me
locked
2
in.
weeks ago, I would have said Jacksonville. The last 2 weeks, I was
momentum.
unimpressed with the way they ended their season.
Woo!
Losing to the Niners. Granted, Jimmy Garoppolo had a big play on that, but they were a month ago 1-10.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
should have won that game, guys.
They should have won that game. They lost to Tennessee, a playoff team in their division, right before the playoffs. That's a stinger. I think they're gonna have that hangover going into it. The Bills are on a huge high from making the playoffs. Jacksonville's on that hangover, and I think the Bills are gonna win.
Every episode, I feel like we have a buzzword. This episode is hangover.
Yeah.
Kids, don't drink and drive. I'm serious about that.
Right.
Don't drink and drive.
If you like my mom told me, if you're gonna drink, stay there.
Yeah.
Dropping life lessons. Okay, so we were kind
Max
of.
doesn't know he can't drink yet. He's not allowed to drink yet.
Even if I could, I wouldn't.
Wow.
At all? Drink at all?
CM Punk right there, guys. Straight edge. I love it.
Yeah, I my alcohol is my success.
I'm successful often. Oh wait, that's not how that works.
Anyway, but we kind of got on Dave a little bit for skipping the NFL
Yes.
and jumping into college.
Right.
You had a topic you wanted to talk about with the NFL?
The Titans? And the
Remember you
Chiefs?
said, hey, I really wanted to talk about you said, we're skipping the NFL talk. I wanted to jump over to this.
It was this. The Jackson.
Okay,
It was
I'm making
Jacksonville.
sure there's
no.
nothing else.
It was Jacksonville backing into the playoffs.
Okay.
It was me being high on them and then backing into the playoffs.
Okay,
That's
I was just making sure
really
there's
what it
nothing
was.
more.
But I'm still going to give the producer mad props. He locked in, guys, 2 months ago when maybe the Rams were going to make the playoffs. Maybe Jacksonville was going to make the playoffs. He locked them both in, not even making the playoffs, winning their division. So
He
big
did.
ups to the produce. Cuzzo, big ups to you. You've been locked in for a dang year straight. So I'm excited, guys. Postseason, NFL, wild card weekend this weekend.
Okay, now, Dave, I think we are ready for your time.
I was just excited. I watched the whole second half of the Rose Bowl, Oklahoma versus Georgia. Watched the first overtime, and of course, you watched the second overtime. I thought it was the best college football game all year.
I think they played scared.
Who?
Do I have to say who?
Oklahoma.
Yeah,
They did.
They played when It's like, and I'm not even just saying this based on this game, but if you ever just watch a pickup basketball game, just watch a regular football game, you watch an NBA every night, you can tell when a team is playing to not lose
Yes.
instead of a team playing to win. We see UFC fighters do this time and time again. We see Tyron Woodley against Damian Maia. He's fighting to not lose instead of looking for the win, where he can easily knock out Damian Maia, but he's so worried about his threats, he just doesn't want to lose. And I think that's what we saw with Oklahoma, is they have the Heisman, they have the offensive line, they have all the weapons to beat Georgia, but instead they don't go for the win. And it's like, I don't understand why play scared when you're on that level. If you don't have, it shows me lack of confidence in their Heisman.
I totally
You go
agree.
for it. You go for the win.
100% in agreement on this one. We've been debating Duncan Kobe. We've been debating Chris Paul. We've been debating Matt Ryan. On this one, you and I are 100% agreeing.
We're master debaters.
That's the mic dropping right there. Yep. Sean's had like 3 top 5 one-liners this episode, guys. This is like a Pineapple Express podcast episode. It's just hilarious. Georgia outplayed them in the second half, and like Oklahoma never came back. Oklahoma never tried to win. Oklahoma never threw the ball again. It's just like they were letting Georgia come back slowly. Oklahoma guys had the better quarterback, college quarterback. He was the Heisman Trophy. He's literally the best player. The Heisman is the MVP of college. Their O-line was awesome. They have a top-tier number 1 wide receiver who will be in the NFL. Oklahoma would have won that game 99 out of 100 times, I feel like. They felt like they're like, hey, we're up by 21 or 17, 24, whatever it was at the time, and said, hey, guys, let's just slow down. Let's not lose this game, and then we'll play Alabama.
It's like the prevent defense. You know, they weren't. See, unfortunately, I was watching TV with my kids, so I didn't get to watch. I was watching it via updates on my phone.
Okay.
Excuse me.
You watching that Dora Express or Thomas the Train?
Dora Express. We were watching a little bit of that. So then after the kids went to bed, I was sitting updating. My wife wanted to watch the show, so we're watching that. And
Wait, what show?
Glow on Netflix.
Oh, I love that show.
It's awesome.
It is
It is
awesome.
awesome.
Do you
It's
watch Black
wrestling.
Mirror?
That's one of the ones on my list.
I feel like, that's
I want to
right up
watch
your
that.
alley.
Yeah, but Glow is amazing.
Glow's so
I didn't
good,
think I was
guys.
gonna like it because I'm not a huge wrestling guy, but I didn't think it's amazing. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's
Yeah.
got drama. It's really good.
It's really good.
But let's just put it to you this way. So I was checking on my phone. I get a notification that it's going to overtime. I turned to my wife and I turned off Glow and went and I said I have to watch the overtime. And my wife watched it with me, and I was telling her, and I said, "You talk about most exciting game." It reminded me, and Guru's gonna love this, but it reminded me of the Texas USC. You know, like what how many times they do the overtime in that?
I'm gonna I'll go back to that. But how crazy is this? That the Buffalo won. They beat Miami. We got into Stranger Things. Everyone's like, we're Game of Thrones. We're freaking
Right.
Walking Dead,
Yep.
Dexter, all that. We're like, everyone's like, you got to watch Stranger Things. So we're watching Stranger Things on Netflix. I knew the Bills won, and Baltimore was winning. So I was like, I'm kind of devastated.
Right.
The season's over. Another year of Buffalo not making the playoffs. And all of a sudden, I'm looking on my phone. I'm like, wait a second. Cincinnati just got the ball? Switch the channel. I'm like, Susie, stop it. We're pausing Stranger Things. I got to watch this. And I watched the Tyler Boyd live. So we're living the same lives.
Yeah.
Just
Two
started-
boys.
Boys and their toys.
Yes.
Just started Stranger Things, by the way.
Stranger Things is really
It's
good.
awesome.
Yeah,
God,
no,
it's good.
It's
I'm like
awesome.
episode 2.
Yeah, it's great.
And the girl with the powers where she can manipulate things
11?
with her mind. That's her name?
Yeah, Elle.
11.
Oh, I
It's
didn't
crazy
know.
when she dies, though. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, it's spoiler.
I know that's
I don't even know
I know
yet.
that's a joke because I
Oh.
heard that she's like the best character of the show. So I'm
Bitch.
hoping.
Yeah, I'm 6 episodes in of season 1, and I'm like, I love it when people
It gets
hype
pretty.
you on
It gets pretty bitchin'.
Damn, he dropped that word for a reason. I'm telling you. I know, Sean. Anyway, people hype me on the show and like, guys, it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a chance. And it is awesome. I love when it's hyped up and it fulfills. Anyways, back to Oklahoma, Georgia, guys. Let's get off our Netflix.
Oklahoma, where they blow
Yeah.
big leads in the game.
It's awesome. I can't believe that Baker Mayfield's out. I love it. He needs to humble himself. I love how the linebacker yelled at him after the game. I'm pumped. I'm excited for Georgia, Alabama, SEC championship, SEC final, the national championship, Alabama or Georgia. My cousin's been locked in all year long with Bama. Do you switch out, or you're just all in?
Alabama is winning it all. I said it from the very beginning. You're like, Alabama or the field? I said Alabama. I think sometimes we overthink things. We get caught in the moment. We see rankings. We see different plays. But at the end of the day, I'll always choose a great coach, a great organization, and a great brand. They may not always come in and play the best night to night because they have such high expectations. Sometimes you're not always going to meet those high expectations. But when you, like I said, when you have a consistent, well-run franchise in Alabama, it has an amazing brand and amazing head coach, you're going to have success. And I'm not changing my prediction at all. I think Alabama will win. And I don't think it'll be the most thrilling game, but they're going to win, and it's going to be pretty easy.
Okay.
I don't think they'll win by like 20-plus points probably. I'm not sure, but I know they'll win, and I don't think they'll have a threat to lose.
Okay, Cuzzo, you went that way the whole year. I'm going to stay with Georgia, I guess. The last college game team I want to throw out, I want to give a big shout-out right down the road on I-4, UCF, the national champion, undefeated. They're like they're the people's champion. They're the Rock.
Speaking about UCF, I
Yes,
know
sir.
there's two people, one from Mainland who's the running back, and then one from Spruce Creek, Michael, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. I always messed it up when I knew him. So
Big
I'm not,
shout-out, though, to him.
yeah, I'm not going to butcher his last name on
Michael
It's
shout out,
no,
buddy.
No, here I go. Koulibaly. I think that's actually perfect.
Nailed
Yeah,
it.
it sounds great to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So normally
Cool with me.
I wasn't. I didn't think it was going to be that good. So my point being is I was in contact with him about getting him locked in the studio, and
Yeah?
he may be a future guest
Wow.
in the locked in studio to talk about his crazy successful season.
Our guest list is unreal. We
I
have
know.
like 8 people
We have
crawling to be on the
banging
show.
we have people banging the door right now.
I know
trying
I
to
have,
get in.
I have people arguing and
Yeah.
debating and
Wait.
texting me, and
They're trying to sell us 5 oil changes for $30.
Oh,
It's one of those
Those
things.
are Jehovah's Witness. I'm sorry they didn't want to get on the show. But you guys didn't ask me what I thought was going to happen with the final.
the Alabama Georgia.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead and go with.
I feel about Alabama the same way I feel about Turkey. And if you remember what I said about Turkey,
I think this is one of those moments where we drop the mics and laugh. Is it one of those?
I'm not going to say it, but I am not. I am not.
I think I remember now.
Yeah. And
Samuel L. Jackson would be proud.
so, what conference are both of these teams in?
SEC.
Who won the conference championship this year?
Georgia.
Okay.
So you mean Alabama's going to win?
No. But on to your UCF thing. UCF beat Auburn.
Yes.
Georgia beat Auburn
Mm-hmm.
and has
Auburn beat
Bama.
Bama. No, the opposite. Auburn beat Georgia. Georgia
Yeah.
beat Bama. UCF beat them. It's like one of those, like, you kissed a girl, that kissed
Right,
a guy,
right.
that guy kissed a girl.
But you know
so you're all-
what? But who beat UCF?
Nobody.
So wait. So can we make a case that UCF should have made it further? And okay, actually, you answer, and I have the counter argument because I feel like you'll say yeah.
Yes and no. I feel that an undefeated team should get a better shake, but they do not play with the time. They don't
There you go.
have. They don't have the kind of
Bingo,
schedule.
bango,
They
bucko.
and they need to do more consistent. They've had a couple losing seasons up to this. They won the Fiesta Bowl a few years ago. Really big win for them. But
Blake Bortles as quarterback.
right? And they do that, but they're losing what, Scott Frost. Yeah.
Yes.
And
To Nebraska.
to Nebraska, his alma mater, where he played, all the good stuff. I think that UCF needs to put a few more years together like that. Like TCU, they played well for a few good years. Then they got invited to a bigger conference.
They need to build their brand.
They need
more.
to prove it. They can beat Auburn, and
They did beat Auburn.
what I'm saying, like they can beat a team like Auburn.
Mhm.
My mom's husband, it's hard to say. They got married a year ago, so it's kind of hard as a
think they
35-year-old man to call him a stepfather, but whatever. He's a huge Auburn fan, and we discussed this before the game, and he's like, "Oh, Auburn is gonna kill UCF." You know,
A lot of people thought that.
they're getting in over their head. They're getting too hyped, whatever. And I told him, I said, this game is going to be close, and either UCF's going to make it a good game or UCF's going to win. And he almost laughed in my face. When the pick six, he goes, I'm eating crow. He goes, because UCF wants it more.
Yes.
Auburn is on a hangover because they just lost, and they're not in the Final Four. They're not going to make it. So they have no shot at the national championship. So what are they going to do?
And did you see Griffin, how well he was?
Yeah.
In his story?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Missing a hand.
Yeah.
And I think he had like 13 tackles. It was
Yeah.
insane.
Nuts.
And like every play we showed a highlight, I was watching over at Rob's house, and he was like, every play he was involved with, somehow, some way he was involved with. It was absolutely
It's
amazing.
like a magnet.
But back to your point, I don't think. Do you think they reschedule and they schedule tougher opponents after that? Especially with losing their head coach, they're going to assign a tough schedule.
I think they need to get one or two more marquee, but I don't think that they're going to put too many. I think they might throw one mark because they just came off the undefeated season. They're going to have the new coach. I don't think they're going to do that right away. But it's something they need to do. They need to prove themselves.
Goes to show you how much coaching matters. You go from 0 and 12, and then you can
2 years ago to 13
to now 13 and 0, and now you're about to lose the head coach. I think that could be devastating. To be honest.
Yeah.
And real quick, guys, like how the college schedule works, they're already 3 years locked in to their schedules. Like they can't change their schedule. You like
You
that?
can't call up a couple people.
No, their schedule's already locked in.
Yeah, no,
They already have a full 12-game,
That's a bummer.
3 years out. And
That's
then
a bummer.
So they can start for 2021 trying to get new games.
But what this
on
is
their
going to do
schedule.
is it's going to help the recruiting. It's going to help
Absolutely.
as long as they get a good, whoever I don't even remember who they hired. But if it's even for the program, just beating Auburn and going undefeated, you're going to steal recruits from FSU, from UF, from USF. You're going to steal those recruits.
But with the coach leaving, that has to if I were to transfer and say when I was in high school and I'm going to Atlantic, but I knew Coach Howard left, that would change my mindset of going to that school to play basketball.
I think there was already one or two that transferred out after.
Yeah,
But,
I think especially when you see how much coaching matters from 0 and 12 to 13 and 0. I don't know how many of those will. It's a young team too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I have nothing but love for UCF though. What they did was absolutely incredible. It's a Cinderella Man type story.
Definitely,
I saw that movie the other night.
Definitely.
Incredible. Have you seen it?
Oh, I love it. Russell Crowe. Such a good movie.
It's so freaking good.
One of my dark horse, top 20 favorite movies of all time. Love it.
And then I saw the Conor McGregor movie. My gosh.
Because of who got you there?
Conor McGregor. No, I'm playing Dave.
Conor McGregor sent you his movie?
Whoa! That's
Actually,
breaking news.
Seriously, though, I do have breaking news.
Okay.
And I meant to tell you guys this earlier. So I tweeted the Conor McGregor movie, and I was like, appreciate the love from Cousin Dave and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's me.
So I know. so somebody likes the tweet.
Oh.
So I look at it, I'm like, okay, someone that doesn't follow me, I don't follow them. And it's like Ross, and if he's listened to this, shout out to Ross.
Geller?
I don't know, Ross, and it's starts with an E. So I look, and Conor, I think he's he's in talks with Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor retweeted some of his stuff.
For real?
I'm so serious. And he has 28,000 followers. So I don't know what it was. And then I reached out to him to talk about the Locked In Sports podcast, waiting to hear back. Somebody that's in talks with Conor. I'm like, okay, that's pretty crazy.
I guess
Bingo, bango, bongo.
If Conor wants
know.
if Conor McGregor wants to get on the podcast, we just have 3 guests in front of him that we got.
Conor McGregor.
We have the high school coach from such and such team, and then
The Conor's got to wait his turn.
yeah, he's got to wait because we care about our local teams, so they're ahead of Conor.
I love it.
I love it.
Talking about local guys, make sure January 20th, Orlando, Clash of the Titans. Get your tickets. Get your VIP tickets. There's only a certain handful of VIP tickets left. After that, they're gone. We will be there. Make sure you sign in to the Locked In podcast page on Facebook. We'll be having Facebook Live on it the whole night, and it's going to be big. So, what you got for us, Produce?
We were talking about we bounced around between NFL and college, and we talked about playoffs.
It's all gridiron, yeah.
But I think you've got a couple teams that can still win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's 5 teams locked in still. I got to lock one of these out, Sean. I got to. Locked locked out. NFL teams
Locked out.
locked out.
Locked out.
NFL teams that are locked out of winning the Super Bowl this upcoming season. If you don't know by now, you don't know. Guys, I've locked out every NFL team except for 5. Do I have to do the whole hold my breath thing still?
Yes.
God dang it. Okay.
Hold on. Wait, where's my phone? I want to videotape this.
Okay. This is a podcast, guys. When you
Max,
are...
put this on Instagram. Let's go.
There you go. Produce. There's your phone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. He's going to tape me saying all the teams I've locked out already in one breath.
Looking good.
Are you ready?
Hey, what's up, Max?
Okay. The teams that are locked out are the Jets, Dolphins, Browns, Jaguars, Bears, Rams, 49ers, Bengals, Bills, Chargers, Giants, Cardinals, Ravens, Packers, Bucks, Panthers, Titans, Colts, Texans, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Redskins, Falcons, Lions, Seahawks, Cowboys. Woo! And that's why we get paid the big bucks. All right, guys, there's 5 teams left. There's the Patriots, Steelers, Eagles, Saints, and Vikings. A final 5. I got to lock one of them out. I think it's pretty easy. Cuzzo, no Carson Wentz. The MVP, he's out. He's hurt. He will not come back. The Eagles, even on a bye week, are officially locked out of winning the Super Bowl.
I've said it from the very beginning. With no quarterback, your team doesn't go anywhere. So Carson Wentz, like you said, the MVP, well, would have won the MVP most likely. He's out. No argument, no debate over here.
Okay, you guys feel good about that?
I really do. I really do.
Talking about quarterbacks, Carson Palmer just announced his retirement.
He's still playing?
Oh, my gosh, that's harsh. I think he's a stud.
I do too.
I think he's awesome. I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer.
What border are you on?
Wow.
What has he done?
Build the wall.
He's been playing for years, right?
Yes.
He's been playing for years.
Yeah, like 15 years.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What
What has he won?
But what successful and well-run organization has he been a part of?
Doesn't make him a Hall of Famer. He could take these. Jimmy Garoppolo went to the 49ers who were 1-10, and now they finished the year 6-10.
Great
Does that mean
point.
he's a Hall of Famer?
No, but
Palmer hasn't. To me, Palmer is not a Hall of Famer. He's a good quarterback who was in bad franchises. He had a bad situation, but I don't consider him a Hall of Famer. There was so many more players that are better than him during his.
But when you look at what you have around you, we always talk about this as far as front office or just a well-run organization means you're going to have a well-run product or a successful product. If you're a part of a bad program, a bad situation, rings, I think, are taken for granted sometimes. Championships are taken for granted sometimes as far as, oh, you see Tom Brady, he has 5 Super Bowl rings, or you see this man has 2 rings. Not everybody will win a championship, but to be a Hall of Famer, I think you have to make the best of what you have and to elevate others, and I think he did that.
I disagree. I mean, because I'm not going to lay on rings because Dan Marino. I mean,
Yeah.
he has no rings, but I think where he was when he was on the field, he was the best quarterback in the league. Even though he didn't win a championship, he was the best, and he had a horrible supporting cast with the Dolphins for years.
this is what I love so much about this podcast. 100% going into it, I threw out this whole thing. I was on the side of that I thought he's a borderline, but I was going to say 51% he was a Hall of Famer. But after listening to our producer, Sean, he's not a Hall of Famer. You're right. He was awesome for the Bengals. He actually wasn't that great for the Raiders, and they were horrible then. But then he took the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, and kind of elevated them. But they never won a Super Bowl. He's never made it to a Super Bowl.
Not even close.
It's like, I'm with you. He is not a Hall of Famer. A really good career, a really good quarterback, not a Hall of Famer.
He's had a good team with Arizona. He's had Larry Fitzgerald, and he's had decent running backs. He had Adrian Peterson this year.
Hushmanzada?
He had Ocho Cinco.
Championship.
No.
Hushmanzada?
Like I said, he was a mid-level to borderline. There's your borderline, mid-level to good quarterback during his peak.
Wow.
But He had a good tenure, good long-term thing, but just because you played in the league and had mild success for a long period of time does not equal Hall of Fame.
Love it. All right, he persuaded me. Let's talk about two more quarterbacks that will hopefully make it to the NFL Hall of Fame. Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, UCLA, USC quarterbacks. They have declared they are going to the NFL draft. Cleveland has the 1 pick and the 4th pick. Guys, they can't screw this up, right? They have to pick a quarterback.
Didn't we say they had the best draft last year?
They can't screw this up. So I love both those guys. Cuzzo, I think we like them both too. Sam Darnold, I believe, is both of our guy who will be the best pro. I'm excited. They are both going into the draft.
I think to the normal person, those are the two best quarterbacks in the draft, hands down. I'm a Sam Darnold guy. But when you have two quarterbacks that are openly and clearly not fans of the organization of the Browns, do you draft a player who doesn't want to play for you, is the question. And normally I would say you always pick the best talent and you just make it work. But sometimes when you have a player who doesn't want to play in that organization, it doesn't matter how much you try. If their mental state isn't into succeeding with the franchise because they don't believe in the franchise, it doesn't matter how much you work or how hard you work or how talented you are. If you're not committed and believe in or trust the process, it won't ever be a process. So that being said, my prediction was Sam Darnold, if he enters the draft, I believe my locked-in was he won't get drafted by the Browns. It was along those lines. It was like he wouldn't enter the draft knowing that the Browns had the first pick, or he wouldn't get drafted by the Browns. So let me edit my locked-in then. Now that he's declared and entered the NFL draft, I'm going to say that Sam Darnold, who should be the number 1 overall pick, I think he has the most promise, the most potential in the NFL, the most talent. I don't think he gets drafted by the Browns. I think for some reason, the Browns will convince their fan base, if they have any, they'll convince their whole organization on why another player is more fit and more suitable to their franchise. But deep down, they know they're not able to get the best talent because they don't want to play there.
Where do you think he's going to go? Do you think it's going to be like an Eli type situation, or one of those that they're refusing to, and they're going to have to like pick and trade?
I don't think any player will go out and refuse to get drafted. Like, you know how Lonzo Ball was like, I don't want to work out with any other team but the Lakers. I don't think those two will do that, but we always hear like, oh, this report came out. And it's like, no, none of these reports come out by accident. They come out on purpose. It's just the player not saying it because they don't want to hurt their brand, or they don't want to seem like a spoiled kid. Like, they're going into the NFL. You should be grateful to have that opportunity, but yet they don't want to be stuck in a situation where they know they can't succeed. So I think it's just out there that they don't want to go, but you'll never hear a player outright say, I do not want to be a Cleveland Brown. I just think it'll beat around the bush kind of thing.
I don't understand why more teams aren't creative. Like, guys, how about like the Bengals or the Bills? They're two solid teams. Dalton or Tyrod Taylor are solid NFL quarterbacks. They've been starters for 5 years. Why not, if you're the Bengals and you have Hugh Jackson over there in Cleveland, say, hey, we'll trade you Andy Dalton and our first-round pick this year and our first-round pick next year for maybe the first pick. So Cleveland can say, like, wait, Andy Dalton's a legitimate starting quarterback. He has been for 6 years. They will get, since he's first pick this year, it's like the 11th pick, 9th, 10th pick, and then get their first pick next year. So now, if you're Cleveland, you can re-energize, recharge your whole and freaking roster in 1 year, 1.5 years.
I think that's a good point, and I think that Cleveland is in a weird situation because I think they need to they need a new front office, in my opinion.
Well, they got one. So they got a new GM.
So they have a new front office, but the problem is when you fire everybody, you still have to rebuild, and you have to go through that whole process of building your brand.
Yeah.
So now that they're doing that, I think the best thing to do is just draft the best talent. And that would be getting Sam Darnold. But
You're probably right.
But like I said, if he doesn't want to play there, do you do that?
Exactly. That's my point. I'm kind of like piggybacking on your point.
Yeah.
If Darnold doesn't want to or Rosen doesn't want to, let's get a quarterback. Let's get a Andy Dalton, a Matt Stafford. Let's get Kirk Cousins, someone like that, and then get draft picks. So it's like, okay, at least we have an NFL quarterback because Deshaun Kaiser is not an NFL quarterback.
But what's your pitch? To recruit a player. If you have young players who haven't even been in the league yet.
Well, you're not recruiting, you're trading.
Yeah.
Like it's Isaiah Thomas didn't want to get traded from Boston, but he got traded.
No,
so
yeah.
Andy Dalton has no say so. They trade him, you know.
Okay.
So that's what I think a team should do.
And I think if I was Sam Darnold, I'd do the same thing. I would not want to be stuck and
Agreed.
held to an organization that has a track record of not succeeding or not being stable. It's just so roller coaster with no ups. It's just straight downs.
How many different
That's an
starting
awful roller
quarterbacks have the
coaster.
Browns had in the last 15, 20 years? They've had
38.
something along those lines.
It's
I was on the
outrageous.
roster.
So if so if Sam Darnold doesn't go to Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
where does he go?
Who's projected to have the number 2 pick?
The Giants.
Yeah.
I think the Giants. I
That's
think the Giants.
where I was leading you.
This is
I mentioned Eli, and I was
This is-
trying to go along those lines because when Eli was drafted, he did not want to go to San Diego. He basically forced them to
This is
Trade
part
him.
of my locked in, so I'll keep some of it left out.
Okay.
But my point is, yeah, I think Sam Darnold and the Giants will be involved.
Cuzzo, talking about that. Shoot, let's just go for it. If
Okay,
you're ready to
I'm
get
locked
locked
in.
in, I'm ready to get locked in. Producer, you're ready to get locked in. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Let's get locked in.
My locked in is I think Sam Darnold gets drafted by the New York Giants, which is a much better franchise, much better. He's
better fit.
Yeah, in the spotlight. It's a major market, good brand. I think he'll have tons of support there. But I'm going to take my locked in one step further. Not only does Sam Darnold get drafted by the New York Giants, which is my team, by the way, I think they still keep Eli Manning. I don't think they get rid of him. I don't think he goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think he goes to any other situation. I think they keep him and Sam Darnold learns from him for a year or two, and then it's a more peaceful kind of breakup. So when Eli, he understands there's a new wave coming in, let me just at least mentor, but yet still be there for the Giants, and then it'll be a peaceful let go instead of, okay, you're out, let's go, Sam Darnold. So I think they'll keep Eli,
Nice.
and then they'll draft Sam Darnold.
Awesome. Great locked in, Cuzzo. Produce, you want next?
Sure. We got the wild card playoffs coming up, right? So we've got 4 division winners
Yep.
going against 4 non-division winners.
Correct.
I'm going to say there will be no division winners moving on to the next round.
Wow. Holy crap. Producer has been locked in. If you nail this one, I swear we're giving you the whole
That's
freaking...
Titans beating the Chiefs.
Yep.
Falcons beating the Rams. Bills beating the Jags. Panthers beating the Saints.
By the way, I got an iced coffee bet with Max over there. I got the Falcons with you.
That's so funny. I have the Rams, I have the Saints, I have the Chiefs, and I have the Bills.
Oh, so that's the one where
Yeah.
we agree on one of them. So
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go.
Well, you guys are running, stomping on my locked in. Guys, I don't think it's any surprise. I will be live at the game wearing a Buffalo Bills jersey. My locked in is Buffalo Bills going to Jacksonville, Florida, and upset the Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Jaguars. Go Buffalo!
Jaguars.
Cuzzo. Another
Say that on
amazing episode. I want that iced coffee Monday morning on my desk. Undisputed, guys. January 20th. Come out. Orlando Live. Buy tickets. Cuzzo, you got anything off your chest?
Yes, I do. So, that coffee will be mine. I'll take a picture, post that on my story. You can catch me at Max Van Auken. Catch me outside. How about that? We got to put that in there. But Max Van Auken, VANAUKEN. And like you said, January 20th, be there. What's the famous saying? Or be square. Make sure you check us out.
Produce. Have a good night, my man.
You too.
I want
All
a
right,
comment,
guys.
by the way, on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher Radio. I want a comment, not just a subscription. I want a comment to hear.
Review. Let us
Yeah.
know what you think.
Yeah, because we listen. We are the People's
Rate
Podcast.
us.
Yes, sir. And like always,
Stay
stay
locked in. Woo! Ric Flair.